when I came across the word imperfect in the dictionary, it was, and when I say dictionary, I mean like online on the internet. I didn't really have like a big book, so Webster's online dictionary. But the word imperfect like blew my mind, because when I think of imperfect, I think of like you have this giant puzzle that it has all the pieces but that one piece, and it's just like that's it. Like you lost the piece under the couch 20 years ago, so you're probably never going to find it again. That's what I think of when I think of imperfect, and that puzzle's now a failure, right? And so often we think of ourselves like that, like dude, I can't handle everything in life. Everything that life brings on to me sometimes is just like there's no way I can do it, right? And we get ourselves so racked up in like dude, I'm not being who I should, or I'm not doing what I should, or I have this void in my heart that I'm missing whatever it is. I'm imperfect, and I have a mental illness, or the list just goes on. And so often that's what we focus on. We focus on our imperfection. But what we don't know is there's more to that definition. That definition is an ongoing, uncompleted action. Not perfect, faulty, or incomplete. And as long as we live, we're going to be imperfect. However, like that puzzle that we're building, we're constantly putting the pieces in. And whenever I read that, like, instantly I felt better. Like every imperfect trait that I have as a person, I know I'm crazy, and sometimes I'm a pain in the butt to work with, or like I can literally go on, and I'm sure my husband probably could throw in a few too. He wouldn't, because he's a good guy, but like I'm sure he could. But like, dude, that was just like an instant relief. Like, I'm not done here. I'm not done working on myself, and God's not done working in me. So as long as He's working in me on my imperfect life, my path of imperfection, His perfect, absolute, completed love for me is what gives me hope, is what makes me want to be a better person, is what makes me want to do good for others, is what makes me want to love others as He loves me. I want to love others because we do this thing where we put other people on this like on the standard chart, right? Where we expect them to be perfect. We have a phone that gets everything we want at the control of our fingertips. And if it doesn't come out right, we get mad, right? Well, we do the same thing with people. We're imperfect. And yet we put people on this expectation. Whether it's a coworker, whether it's your family, whether it's your friends. You put them on this expectation of, whether it's your kids, like, so often. And I'm not even saying like I know I do this too. God is working in me to help me be able to love unconditionally and catch myself when I do this, because it's a game changer. When you start treating people, knowing they're imperfect, knowing you're imperfect, when you start treating people like, hey, dude, I'm on this path of learning, and I will be until the day I die, because I'm incomplete. I am imperfect. And I'm going to be on this path when I'm 95 years old in a wheelchair. Like, I will still be imperfect and still living, and there will be so many flaws of mine. But I'm still learning. When you realize that and you start talking to people, you don't get as angry. Susan, you were on my Facebook, man, and you had to make that comment, and like, dude, that was so stupid. Shut up. No, like, stop. Susan maybe doesn't know. Maybe she doesn't know about love. Maybe she doesn't know about what it is that sets you off and why you feel like you want to punch Susan in the face. Honestly, like, we put people on this expectation list of they should know, they should be this way, they should be that way. We're all learning. All of us, till the day we die, we're learning. And people can't learn unless you're willing to teach them. And when I say teach, I mean, Jesus had a group of followers, and he showed them love. And the people that didn't want to hear, that didn't want to listen, that didn't want to see, do you know what he did? He walked away. He didn't keep fighting with them. He knew that they weren't going to listen, that they weren't going to see, and that's okay. There's people out there who don't want to listen, who don't want to see, who don't want to learn how to change, how to love. But you can change, you can listen, you can see, and you can love. The best thing that ever happened to me was listening and seeing and knowing this perfect love. It has brought so much humility to me, because I know that I can never get up to this standard, right? This expectation. Not until he calls me home. Not until he says, hey, it's time for you to go to heaven. Like, until I'm dead, I'm imperfect. And that's okay. We all are. And that's something to accept of yourself, that you are imperfect. So maybe it's not your neighbor that you're like, your expectations are up here, dude, they should have been mowing their grass. Maybe it's not that you're upset about, but maybe you're like, I should have mowed my grass. My neighbor just mowed their grass. Maybe you're on yourself. Maybe you're not giving yourself maybe you're not loving yourself like God loves you. Maybe you're loving your neighbor, but you're not loving yourself. And if that's the way your brain is thinking, are you really loving your neighbor? If you don't even know how to love yourself. Dude, you're imperfect. It's okay. We all are. We are, none of us can make it up here. None of us are at the right standard. And that's okay. I'm going to leave it here. We'll continue in our next video. And we'll talk a little bit about humility and what that is in us. I want to pray for you guys, and if you guys have any prayer requests, please drop them down below. I want to pray for you guys, and if any of you need somebody just to listen, or maybe you need some guidance, or maybe you're like, dude, I want some of that perfect love, feel free, please message me. My Facebook is just capital K, capital C. I'll leave a link down below. I love you guys, and it's just so, life is good. Life is good, and no matter what pain, what sorrow, what hurt, what angst you have, we'll get through, okay? We will get through it. Alright, guys. I love y'all.